Hello and welcome back everyone to the channel. This will be the new and updated guide for how to convert a video to 60 FPS. But this time around we will be using this program called FrameGUI. I have developed it myself and I will show you how to use it in this video. So without further ado, let's go ahead and get started. So the first thing you want to do is download and install FrameGUI, and to do that select the link in the video description and it will take you to the releases page of FrameGUI on the GitHub repository. Download the latest version of FrameGUI and make sure you're downloading the setup file. If you want to stay tuned to updates regarding FrameGUI, then I highly recommend that you join the channel's Discord server. The invitation link is in the video description. Once the download has finished, go ahead and open it and then you will be presented to a window that looks like this. The reason why you're seeing this is because FrameGUI is a new application and there is no reputation of it. So as a precaution measure, Windows and other antivirus will either show you this message or remove the file. There are no threats associated with FrameGUI, so we could go ahead and select more info and then run anyway. And once again, another message will pop up confirming the installation and we are going to select yes. Now that the setup wizard has opened, the first thing you will see is the license agreement. Go ahead and read it, and if you accept it, click the I accept checkbox and then go to the next page. Here you will define whether or not you want a desktop shortcut to be created. Check the checkbox if you do, otherwise don't. On the next page is the installation confirmation. Click install and wait for all of the files to be extracted. Once the installation is complete, go ahead and click finish and then FrameGUI will automatically open. So the first thing we have to do is define the input video that we want to convert. To do that, select the select input button and select the video you want to convert. A list of supported input file formats are listed on the screen. For the purposes of this video, I will be using the Big Buck Bunny trailer as a sample video. It is a free and open source cartoon licensed under Creative Commons. Next step is to head over to the encoder settings tab where you first be presented to the x264 settings. In the frame selection, you'll want the frame rate to remain on its default, as we won't be using this function for upscaling the frame rate. Below that is the B frames, and we want to set this to 0 for maximum encoding speed. Below that is the colors section, and you will have the option to sharpen the video. It is suggested to set the sharpening value to no more than 3 so that the encoding process won't take forever and so the colors won't look washed out. In the next column, we want to set the encoding mode to constant rate factor and set the constant rate factor value to 17. This will give the video a visually lossless appearance no matter the resolution of the video. The next option below is the video tune. If you want to use it, select the use checkbox and define the tune. We do not need to use this function in this tutorial, so we could go ahead and deselect the use checkbox. Below is the video preset and we want to keep this on the default value of slow. A faster preset will only result in a poor quality video. Last on this page is the change resolution option. We don't need to change anything here, so we could skip that and move on to the audio tab. So as you can see here, there isn't much to choose from as I wanted to keep this section as simple as possible. For the audio format, we are going to want to use the AAC encoder. If you use this format and the audio doesn't work in the output, then try using the MP3 format instead. Next, we want to define the audio bitrate, and you would select this on the basis of how many audio channels your video has. If your video has 5.1 channels or more surround sound, then you'll want to select the highest option, which is 576 kilobits per second. Otherwise, if you have mono or stereo audio, go ahead and select 320 kilobits per second. And finally, the section you guys are all waiting for, the SVP flow parameters. So what you want to do here is select the use checkbox to enable all of the options. Now if you don't have AV-Synth Plus installed already, then you will get this message asking you to do so. You cannot use SVP Flow without AV-Synth Plus installed, so go ahead and select yes, then a message will pop up confirming the opening of the setup file. Again, select yes and then the setup wizard will open. Define the language in which you want the setup wizard to be displayed in, then click OK. Click next, read over the license agreement, and then move on to the next page. Now here, you must make sure that AV-Synth Plus installs to this path. Else, FrameGUI will not be able to find it and you will keep getting this error saying that AV-Synth Plus is not installed. Click next, and then we only want to install the 64-bit version, so go ahead and deselect the 32-bit version checkbox and then click next again. The setup wizard will show you the installation confirmation, so now we can hit install and wait for all of the files to be extracted and installed to your computer. Once finished, select the finish button and then the wizard will close. Go ahead and select the use checkbox again, and then this time all of the options should be enabled. The text boxes above are for importing your own custom SVP flow parameters. If you need help or don't know what to do, then select the link below to read the SVP flow documentation. If you still don't know what to do or you just want a simple layout to define the parameters, then simply select the noob checkbox and a more user-friendly interface will appear. The first thing we want to do here is define your input video FPS. If your input video FPS contains a decimal point, then round it up to the nearest whole value. The video I'm converting is in 25 FPS, so I would enter 25 FPS. The minimum input FPS you can enter is 15 FPS. Next is to select the output FPS, and this value can be as high as 120 FPS. For the purposes of this video, we will select 60 FPS as the output. Next, you will want to define if you want to use the GPU for the frame rendering. It is not recommended to use the GPU because using it will generate more artifacts in the output video. Lastly, you need to define the smoothness strength. For this video, I will select the maximum smoothness option. The next section we will look at is the Avsynth Plus section. We are going to leave the thread count on its default as well as the maximum memory. Looking at the other settings section, for my advanced users, you have the option to copy the ffmpeg command to the clipboard. But note that a process must be running for this to work. Below is a checkbox indicating if you want a message box to show at the end of the encoding saying that the encoding is complete. Select or deselect the checkbox depending on what you want. And the last option is the Save Settings button. If you want to save all of your current settings in FrameGUI so that you don't have to set them each time you open the application, then select this button and a message box will show if the settings were saved successfully. To show you guys that this actually works, I will close FrameGUI and reopen it. All you have to do is define the input, and as you can see, all of the other encoding settings we have saved previously have been set automatically. The only other settings that you will have to define are the use checkbox for SVP flow and the output file destination path. The reason why the use checkbox here won't be saved is for protection of the application, just in case if Avsynth Plus was uninstalled. So now that all settings have been set to your liking, we can go back to the main tab and specify the output video format. For this video, I will select MP4 as the output video format. Finally, select the destination path of the output video by selecting the Save Output button. Once that is set, select Start Encode and then the process will begin after around 5 to 10 seconds of waiting. The process has started once the conversion progress info is displayed. If at any time you need help with FrameGUI, whether that be an error or general information, press F1 and the official documentation for FrameGUI will open up in your browser. For problems and errors, please read the troubleshooting section for directions on how to report problems, errors, or issues. Improperly reported errors or issues will not be accepted. Continue waiting for the process to complete. Once complete, we can now see the output video. We will first take a look at the original 25 FPS video. And now for the newly converted 60 FPS video. As you saw, the video was much more sharp and smoother. I hope you all enjoyed this video and found the contents of it useful. Be sure to give this video a like and subscribe to encourage future development of FrameGUI and other tools. Thanks, I'll catch you all later.